Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
Hey everybody, this is Marcus with the Daily Biker Podcast. I am here at White Lightning Harley Davidson in the White Lightning Harley Studios. Today with me, I have Lewis.
How's it going?
Y'all know Lewis, and y'all put your hands together for him. So today we are going to be diving down a pretty interesting subject. I think it's a conversation that me and you tend to encounter quite a bit, and that's people that are on the fence. I mean, people that, you know, some of them are in that area where a little nudge is going to push them into buying, but some of those people are on the cliff where you push them a little bit too far and they're not going to buy.
Right.
I mean, it kind of gets into a murky area, and I know that's something we talked about, and we kind of worked out a little bit of a list here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the pros and cons of purchasing and owning a motorcycle, really. So
yeah, like you said, it's a conversation that we've had with, you know, a lot of different people, and you know, one thing, there's always going to be a reason not to do something, right? There's always going to be a reason not to buy. And it's funny how when we do have that conversation, it tends to go the same way every time, right? So I remember I was talking to a friend at work about buying probably not his first motorcycle in 30 years, you know. So he's wanting to get back into riding. I was getting into riding, and you know, today's topic, you know, to buy or not to buy. Why is it that what are the reasons why you want to buy a motorcycle?
Yeah.
You know, I kind of made a list here. I was brainstorming a little bit, and I made a small list of things that I think were good points, not necessarily selling points, but just reasons why I ride, you know, reasons why most people get into the hobby. And, you know, starting right off, the thrill of it.
yeah,
That riding experience, you know, there's nothing else really that you're going to get that kind of experience with.
and you know, I'm 100% going to agree with you. People make the statement, you know, you could get I can get that same feel in a Corvette or just in a convertible in general. And I've owned a convertible, and trust me, you're not going to get that same thrill.
No, you're not. I mean, like I said, you know, this summer, you know, you and I kind of played around with a Fox body a little bit, convertible.
Yeah.
It was fun, but I think we really enjoyed it because it was a change.
Yeah, it was a different pace. And, you know, I've met many people, just as I'm sure you have, that rode at one point in time and they quit riding. And for them, it was, you know, that thrill wasn't there anymore. They were getting that same enjoyment out of a Corvette. And to those people, I'm not saying anything negative to or anything negative about. I mean, some people choose that, but I will argue the point until I'm blue in the face. You're not going to get that same experience. And I think the Fox body was enjoyable to us because, like you said, it was something different.
Kind of me. It was something different, you know. And I think the whole reason why we even got that thing out was because I think we kind of went through a wet spell, and the bikes were kind of out of the question. And it was something that, you know, you and myself and our wives could take off in and, you know, go. It was kind of like riding, but not really. We
had a little bit of an early cold snap there that seemed to last for a couple weeks. And I mean, we really weren't ready for it. It was one of those things where, you know, the afternoons, it still wasn't that cold, but it was getting to those points where we were getting out in the evening times, and it was kind of chilly, and I guess we weren't really. We weren't ready for it to be cold yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that was before we went to Florida, so I mean, we were still sitting there going, "Hey, it's supposed to be nice right now. What are you trying to do to me?"
I know. Yeah, it was kind of cramping our style, but yeah, you know, going back to that thrill of riding, there was a quote that I came across, and it was from like Goliath.com or something like that. I'm not even sure what these guys, what the website was about, but they had a topic on reasons to ride a motorcycle.
Okay.
One of the things that they said, being in aviation, I kind of liked it, and I never really thought about it, but it was 100% true. Riding a motorcycle is probably the closest thing that most of us are going to come to, closest thing that we're going to do to flying our own airplane. A lot of those same feelings, I had when I've been up and flying some of the small Cessnas and things like that. It's a lot of that same thrill level, that same sense of adventure and controlling your own machine. I get when I was on my bike, same as being in an airplane. So I never thought of it that way until they mentioned it. I thought, man, that is exactly right.
There's a sense of freedom, first of all, even if you're on your bike going somewhere specific, riding over here to the dealership today, I got on my bike with an exact destination in mind, but there was still a kind of a free feelingness about it. I mean,
right.
That's, to me, it's kind of cliche saying free feeling, but I don't really know any other way to describe it. I mean, I'm not caged up. So,
right. Well, whatever trip you're doing, and like you and I, when we ride, a lot of times we don't know where we're going anyway. So there's that kind of adventurous type feel. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're just out exploring. You know, you don't know where you're going to end up, and you don't care.
Well, and talking about that adventure, getting out, exploring, not knowing where you're going. Moving on to another reason people talk about commuting. I've heard a lot of people talk about, they have a nice car and they don't want to necessarily commute back and forth to work and stuff. So they're going to buy a little cheaper car, look at a motorcycle as an option.
Absolutely. Yeah. Depending on what area you live in, even us, it's February now, so we're moving into March. January and February, December, January and February, it's kind of riding season is for the most part done, but not completely. There's been several times where we've got out in the last 3 months and went on short little rides, rode around town, and it would be definitely possible to use your motorcycle in the Southeast as your primary vehicle.
Well, yeah, and especially considering, like you said, so when people are listening to this, it's going to be into March, but it's still early into March, which it's still kind of the same weather that we're experiencing right now towards the end of February. It's 60 degrees and sun shining right now.
Oh, yeah.
If this is a work day, there's no reason that you couldn't be on your motorcycle. And for anybody that's north of Kentucky, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You might not have chose to live up there. I didn't choose to live down here, but I've also chose not to move away from here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, the weather's just been fantastic, and we get that. I know you were telling me a story about a guy riding up north, something to do with the salt on the roads. I think you'd said you were talking to him about when they stop riding. I think you said something about when they start putting down salt on the roads.
Oh yeah, when they start putting down salt on the roads, that's when the riding season ends.
Yeah.
So when does it begin back up? After about the second rain that they've had, when the warmer weather hits to wash every bit of it off of the road.
Yeah. Well, and we're fortunate on the fact that if they put salt down at least once this year, weather's getting dicey on us.
Yeah, it's getting dicey.
Means it's going to rain. It's about 35 degrees.
Yeah, it's going to be a miserable day. It's going to get cold enough, just cold enough to not snow.
Yeah.
And then it's going to rain.
Yeah, it's going to get cold enough to make you mad, but not cold enough for anything to freeze.
Right. And it's going to do it for about 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, though. If you looked at those recent storms that came through, part of that with us is only because the little valley that we're in.
Yeah, I guess.
Everybody else around us got blasted.
I can't believe that historically, every time Texas gets snow, we get snow. Texas got pretty much turned into a frozen tundra.
They got pounded almost all the way to Mexico.
Oh, I know. And we got nothing.
Yeah.
Except, I say we got it. Chattanooga got nothing. Everything north of Chattanooga got a nice little winter.
Well, but that was the thing. You didn't have to go north of Chattanooga. There was people in Alabama. There was people that were south southwest of us.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I mean, I'm talking guys southwest 20 miles away.
Yeah.
And they were dealing with some ice and some snow. And
we got nothing.
Yeah. I got a frozen door handle and some aggravation trying to get my car door open that morning. That was about the extent of it.
Yeah. So, of course, times like that, you're not going to be able to commute. But, for the majority of the time, if you're looking, if that's one of your boxes that has to check, can I use this? Can this thing be useful? Absolutely. That's another reason to buy one.
Yeah.
You're going to make your commute more fun.
Well, I mean, now me and you are in those situations are going to choose not to commute, but look at Dave Harris.
Yeah, that's the only thing he has.
I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you have Dave on Facebook. If you don't, get him on there. He was posting some photos the other day where he had heaters and a little cover over his motorcycle because it was frozen when he went to get out on it in the morning. And I was like, Dave, you a tougher man than I tell you what.
He really
but that was like, okay, so yesterday they had the dealership had the distillery ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they took off. When I pulled up to the distillery,
the weather was gorgeous. The weather was cold, but the weather was gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
They probably had a pretty good ride when it started to warm up that day. I mean, I'm sure they had a great ride. It was a gorgeous day. Definitely not as warm as it's going to be today, but still nice.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I think on the commuting thing, I think it's a huge plus. I know at one point in time I'd worked for another dealership. Me and a friend, we were commuting, and we would end up usually taking the long way home just to get that ride. But, on the commuting subject, fuel mileage.
Yeah.
Fuel mileage is a pro and a con.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Most of the time, anytime I've had this conversation with somebody about, reasons why to buy a bike, the fuel mileage never comes up. It's never been talked about at all. But here's the thing. For some people, especially if you plan on this being your primary back and forth to work or whatever, I mean, fuel mileage could be a concern. And there are some very good options out there. Good fuel efficient bikes. I mean, you're going to have to fill this thing up maybe once a week,
Yeah.
For what, $8-10 maybe.
Well, I haven't rode the new one. I think it's a 750, but the Honda NC700X.
Yeah, a guy at work, he dailied one of those things for a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking guys are getting 70 miles to a gallon out of those machines.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of what that bike was built for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to necessarily say commuting. It's a great commuter bike. I mean, even if you don't throw the bags on it, it's got the little trunk built in on the front. But for the guys to, that they don't have to have a 1100 or a 1200 or the most power in the world to do those long rides.
Right.
And, I think it's like a 3.5 gallon tank, maybe a little bit smaller than that. But it's 70 miles a gallon. Does it really matter how big your tank is?
Yeah, really. Point? Yeah, I mean, and too, with that, it probably, because it doesn't have that huge tank, the rideability, you can flick the thing around, do whatever you want to do with it. I think there's some guys out there that, if I'm not mistaken, don't they put knobbies on those things and go turn them into like full-fledged adventure bikes?
So I know a guy that had kind of a more aggressive tire on his and went up through Canada and rode up to Alaska and everything. So
yeah.
But on the fuel consumption thing, like I said, it can also be a con. Obviously, I mean, if you're on a Boss Hoss or something like that, I don't think you're buying a Boss Hoss. I don't think a Boss Hoss is one of those bikes where you're on the fence about getting into motorcycling, whether you should buy a motorcycle or not, whether it be your first or your second or your third or your fourth or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. I
don't think that's an option. But, say for someone that has rode, okay, so Dusty. I don't think you've met Dusty, but I ran at him up here the other day, and he wants another motorcycle. I think he's kind of on the fence about making that step. But he was up here looking at getting a bagger. So he had a street glide. He knows how to ride, and he knows the bike. Well, if you ride like I did today, since it's been a little while since I've been on my motorcycle, a week or so. I mean, I got into it. I was enjoying myself and feeling that thrill of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was probably still 30 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sitting there. I mean, I'm in the RPMs and all this other stuff. But like when we ride to Panama, I can get almost 50 miles to the gallon out of the thing. I mean, but I'm sipping it. I'm sitting there going, oh, I don't want to go above a certain RPM. I'm
Right.
kind of riding it in a fuel saving mode anyways.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, a lot of times when we're going to have these conversations with people about buying, they have seen other people or they have friends that are into motorcycles and they're wanting to get into this thing for, really they're not thinking about fuel consumption is really, when it comes down to it, it's not that big of a selling point,
Yeah.
But, like we said before, the riding experience and, the getting out and exploring new places, that's a selling point. The thrill of riding is a selling point. And also, too, that whole sense of camaraderie with your friends or meeting new people.
Yeah.
When you buy a motorcycle, most of the time you're buying more than just a motorcycle. You're now, for most people, you're buying a lifestyle now. You're buying a hobby. It's not like going to your, Toyota dealership or something and buying a car to get back and forth to work. This is a little bit different. It goes a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and I'm 100% going to agree with you for every brand, and then you can go subcategory breakdown and kind of go, every type of motorcycle, whether it's an adventure bike or a cruiser or a sport bike or what it may be. 100% definitely. I think, though, the most obviously, I mean, probably the biggest brand recognition in the United States, but also the biggest seller when it comes to Harley Davidson is that lifestyle, but it's also that kind of the nostalgia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how many guys came to Harley Davidson because someone in their family had one? They had one in the garage. And Harley Davidson's actually kind of capitalized on that with some of their commercials too, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are on Harleys because of their friends were on Harleys, that camaraderie. So it's a good thing. Now, going that direction, a pro, okay? So let's move towards very specifically Harley Davidson. A pro, like you said, camaraderie. There's a community.
Yeah.
There's a huge dealer network. And even once you're outside of the dealer network, there's a huge network of aftermarket assistance for anything may be. The dealer tries to be able to provide and help, or the motor company itself tries to provide and help as much as they can, but they realize you do get to a point where you can't. There's a knucklehead sitting on the floor here, and if that dude needs parts, he can go to the parts counter and they can get them for him.
Absolutely.
Whether they're from new old stock or something that's coming from an aftermarket company or something like that, there is that dealer network. And I think that's one thing where if you're on the fence going, you've made the decision that you do want a motorcycle, but you don't know kind of what you want, that's
a good selling point.
Yeah, that's a huge plus. Now, con, just like everybody tells you, HD stands for $100. You can get T-shirts for a lot less than that. I'm going to tell you that now.
Well, yeah, and I mean that sounds good rolling off the tongue, and you and I have heard it 1,000 times, but we've been in this long enough to know. You go out and you start buying parts for any bike, American, Canadian, Japanese, and European. When you start buying parts for a bike, especially, let's say if it's not a Harley Davidson, you have very little options on that aftermarket.
Well, you do, and you're dealing with that right now with your Kawasaki.
Yeah. So a lot of the parts that I've had to buy for the Kawasaki is, the little rubber pieces, the little small things that you wouldn't think of. Of course, they haven't made this bike in over 30 years now. Or,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 40 years now. So what do? Well, you go on Amazon. And you get lucky sometimes. eBay, you get lucky. And then sometimes some of the parts that you break, you're doing machine work.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the upside too, though, is with some of the rubber parts, gaskets and stuff like that, technology has helped a little bit with some of that stuff. So, I mean, gaskets, you can get into doing RVT and stuff like that to help you with the gaskets. And then,
but
some guys have got out there and got creative, though. They've discovered, this gasket for this carburetor for this 125 dirt bike is the same gasket that's on my CB 450 or whatever it may be. Guys have got out there and they've discovered that. But that's also taken a lot of time and a lot of research.
A lot of time, a lot of research. You got to know what you're doing. But I'll tell you what you're not doing. You're not going to the Kawasaki dealership and saying, hey, I need this for a 77 KZ 1000.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If I go get my 1986 FXR lowrider, I can bring it straight to this dealership and they can do whatever in it. They could take every bolt of that motorcycle and replace it. That's not a problem.
And that's something we'll get into another time, another topic that we have for a later episode, and that's kind of the state of the motorcycle industry.
Mm-hmm.
And your FXR is going to be a big topic of that discussion. But moving forward, I know you had a long list.
So
I kind of showed up unprepared.
That's all right. I'll carry the load for this episode.
Well, as
usual.
long as you can support me, I'll bring you a back brace to help you out since you're having to carry me.
So one thing else, talking about the social aspect of it, when you get into this, when you start getting into this thing, this hobby, you're going to meet a lot of different people. You're going to start hanging out with probably a little bit different crowd that you did before you had a motorcycle. I know that, you and I, had it not been for motorcycles, we wouldn't be here right now, Yeah,
well, I mean, me and you both, we're kind of in a similar world, but at the same time, we're kind of in two different worlds. I don't know what they call it when they do the circles and they have the intersecting point.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of meet in that intersecting point. Now, the longer we know each other, that section grows,
right?
And we learn connections and things, what may be. But yeah, like you said, if it hadn't been for motorcycles, those two circles never would have met in the first place.
Yeah, well, and that was a kind of thing. The reason why I got back into motorcycles again was, my wife and I, we were big into boats, right?
Yeah,
and
horrible idea.
We had fun. We loved it. But the thing is when we were in boats, we had a group of people that we kind of, that they were the boat people, and it was a little bit older of a crowd.
Yeah.
And that was really the only time that we were really hanging out with those people when we were on the water.
Yeah.
And then we were starting to kind of grow out of it a little bit and we just really wanted something different. And I started getting the itch again for motorcycles. And, finally we just kind of switched hobbies a little bit, started riding on the weekends instead of taking the boat out. And next thing you know, it as it does for most people, it turned into a lifestyle again.
Well, and I mean, yeah, definitely. Like I said, Harley Davidson, they make the joke that stands for $100, but I'm pretty sure boat stands for bust out another 1,000.
There's the old saying. Old man told me one time. He was a pilot, a guy I used to just kind of do some fun flying with every now and again. If it floats, flies, or flirts, it's going to be expensive. And
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, 100%.
That's pretty good. Well, I was always told that everybody needed a boat or at least a friend with one.
Yeah, the friends with one.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've gotten to in my life. Make sure I have friends with boats.
And the same can be said for motorcycles. If you can not buy one, that's great. If you've got an uncle or a dad or somebody that has one they're not using, by all means, use theirs.
I feel like you're speaking from personal experience in that subject.
Yeah, that is. I can tell you from experience that is the best way to do it. Although that is a trap, 100%. You will start spending money. Well,
100%. I mean, you riding the Road King, you were spending your own money to do some things to that.
Yeah.
But you had,
and it also led me down the road of having.
Well, you had 4 different motorcycles you were riding before you ever bought one.
Yeah.
And that one came the 5th motorcycle.
Yeah. And then now I think we're.
You're back down to 4, 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, you keep buying them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it goes. What you got on the list?
So after the social life, something else that I would throw out there is traffic. So we're going back to kind of commuting, right?
Well, it's kind of funny. You immediately go into traffic while I'm sitting here thinking in my head, man, we just turned down the wrong exit. Didn't we, in that conversation? Yeah.
Yeah, that is the best thing about commuting to work. It's the reason I love riding season. During the summer, even if I know it's going to rain, I'm like, I think it's going to be dry by the time I get off, or by the time I get off, I'm going to beat this pop up, thunderstorm or something that's coming. I'm going to chance it. I want to ride because my commute to work, and I don't have a very long commute in my truck. I probably have a 15 to 17 minute drive to work. And then I can cut that down. I can be at work in like 12 minutes. I've timed it one time. I can cut my time down to 12 minutes just being able to get around people.
Well, that's the thing. On a motorcycle, you can definitely mitigate traffic better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But your stopping power and your acceleration power is a lot different too.
Oh, yeah.
So even without, gunning it, you're twice as fast on a 0 to 60 than you are in your little pickup there.
Right. Well, and
I mean, I'm probably 5 times as fast than my little pickup.
It not only, talking about traffic, so I don't want to get too far off topic, but it makes the morning commute a lot more fun, but it also makes it quicker. You're happy when you just have a better day. You're starting off the day a lot better.
You don't get to work pissed off.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I get road rage. I know you had mentioned once before about how you get road rage.
Oh yeah.
It's really easy when you're in a car to get road rage and not be able to let it go.
Yep.
But it's pretty difficult to not let it go when you're riding a motorcycle.
It is.
Because within another mile, something else is going on.
Well, and you can typically get yourself out of a lot of situations too. And, that's one thing about talking about, everybody that is on the fence about buying a motorcycle, the worst thing that you can do is talk to somebody that either used to ride a long time ago or doesn't ride at all. They will give you every single reason that it's going to kill you. And I'll tell you right now, one of the greatest things that I like about the morning commute or riding a motorcycle in general is the ability, because of what you mentioned, the acceleration, the braking and all that, to get away from other drivers.
Right.
Especially when you're kind of getting into that rush hour traffic. I have so much ability now to just get away from everybody else, speed on up, get in the, other lane or whatever, and just nobody's around me.
Yeah.
Which in me, it's like, if you're not riding in traffic, you're just making it that much safer.
Yeah. And there is always that factor of something happening, but definitely once you start getting kind of really into it and you get that itch, it's hard to get away from that itch. I mean, Shannon, for example, had his accident before he was out of the hospital. He was already going over his plans about what he was going to do to his other motorcycle.
Right.
So, and Ty Cooper, he does a YouTube channel. He comes up here and will do a lot of test rides and stuff like that. And him and his wife were in a pretty serious accident.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what though? Ty got him a new CVO.
That's right.
I mean, it's not gonna stop them because they have now experienced those things we're talking about. They've experienced, those fuel savings, the days where your gas mileage ain't that great.
Yep.
The commute to work, leaving work and you're in a bad mood and you get home and you're smiling.
Yep.
So, and talking about that commute and that smile, I've made that comment. Now I'm someone that tends to be in a decent mood and usually smiling and everything. And I've had people look at me and go, "Oh, did you ride today?" And I'll be like, "Am I smiling?"
Yeah.
So, because that definitely is a mood changer for me. But yeah, there's accidents that can happen. I mean, I've been involved in an accident, and I'm going to tell you now, it would have been a whole lot worse if I had not been on a motorcycle because I was able to foresee what was happening and do some maneuvering and negotiating with the traffic to prevent a bad situation from becoming worse.
Yeah. Well, and that's, like I said before, you'll talk to some people that are not into motorcycles, and they will give you every reason in the world to not do it. And like I said, it's usually has to do with, well, I know so-and-so got killed, or I have, back in the whenever I got, hurt. So I said, I'm never going to ride. I tell you what I hear a lot is, well, there are so many crazy drivers on the road. I don't ride or don't ride anymore. I get it. I do understand that. I've seen it. Is it going to stop me from riding? No. If anything, having a healthy dose of awareness of those around you and knowing that everybody, just have in your mind, everybody on this road is going to try to kill me.
Yeah.
I want to stay away from them. It'll make you that much safer.
Now, to put that out there, that thought to those that are on the fence, and that is one of the things you're thinking about. Don't let that thought necessarily overwhelm you at this moment and go, "Oh no, I don't know if I can handle that stress." It literally becomes second nature.
It does.
Every time I'm riding down the road and I see a car, a side street, a parking lot exit, whatever, I'm like, that car's going to pull out in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I always prepare myself. Never happens.
Right.
I'm not saying it won't ever happen. I mean, it has happened, and I stopped. I mean, one of the last bike nights I went to at Farm to Fork, I had someone pull out right in front of me on Graysville Road, and then they stopped in the middle of the road and looked at me like I was an idiot. I'm like, "You're the one that stopped. I'm 5 feet from you. You're sitting sideways in the middle of the road right now."
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you were aware of what could happen, and you adjusted for it.
I was prepared for them to pull out of the parking lot. Yeah.
It ended up being a non-issue, and a lot of times, most of the time, that's the way. That's the end result of it.
Well, and the thing is, too, I don't want to get morbid about this. And I also don't want to speak ill of the dead. Mm-hmm. But to those that have lost somebody in a motorcycle accident, I feel greatly for you. I've lost 2 different friends in motorcycle accidents, so
yeah, likewise.
I 100% understand that. But I do know my friends well enough, as well as their family concurred with the same statement, to know that they wouldn't have wanted us to stop riding.
Yeah.
And I know this because the second one that passed away knew the first one and made the statement he would not have wanted us to stop riding because something happened to him. It's kind of one of those things where I go, okay, he's going to feel that exact same way. And if it scares you off a bike, I don't want to put anyone into that space. I don't want to ever force anyone to do anything. And I want you to be comfortable, because the thing about it is if you get on a motorcycle and you're not comfortable, that's going to be a bad day for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it goes back to kind of like our first episode too. You know, we're talking somebody into buying a motorcycle. You want to be comfortable. You said you want to be comfortable. Buy the right motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
comfortability is definitely not just a physicality as well as it is a mental thing. And some of those mental things can come from the physicality of buying the right motorcycle.
Well, I mean, you buy the wrong motorcycle, if you don't feel comfortable on that bike, you're not going to get good at it. Your confidence is going to be down, and it's going to be a bad experience overall. Yeah. Get the right motorcycle and be sure that you have thought about this and talk to other people about it, about what is going to serve your needs right now. Remember, your learning bike is not going to be your first primary bike.
Yeah. Well, getting back, I guess we can get back on the interstate. I think we took the wrong exit again. GPS ain't working. You know, we were kind of starting to dive down the road a little bit of cost. You know, cost does not have to be that huge of a factor. And like you said, going back to the first episode, you can get into the sport, the hobby, the activity, or the transport, however you want to look at it, relatively inexpensively. And, you know, if you want a good, decent, inexpensive car to commute in, realistically, I think you're looking at $5,000 to $6,000. Is there cars out there cheaper than that? Yeah, but you start getting into vehicles, you know, AC doesn't work, or the paint might be messed up on it. But I'm telling you now, you can get a nice motorcycle with no issues for $2,500.
$2,500, and you know, also with that, you know, a lot of times when people when they start getting into start entertaining the idea, there's a lot of guys out there that are going to go finance their first bike, and that's great. Just because you have $20,000 that they'll finance you for, don't buy it. Yeah. Buy something that's $10,000 or under.
Yeah, you know? Unfortunately, I know some people that kind of sign their life away at 18 years old buying a $10,000 motorcycle that after they paid the full term on it, you were talking close to $20,000. It's like, oh.
Yeah, well, and those people weren't ready to buy. They weren't ready to buy anything.
Well, you know? No. So for those of you that are going to go out and buy a motorcycle that you don't really necessarily know, do a little bit of research. I mean, it's out there. It's not hidden in the dark web. It's pretty easy to find. But at the same time, if you know somebody that is kind of, whether they're a motorcycle person or not, but they're kind of, you know, one of those people that nitpicks, take that person with you, because they will sometimes help you out a lot. I mean, for anybody that's listening to this that knows Mickey, if you're looking at a bike, take Mickey with you. I mean,
oh yeah,
Mickey has walked away. I mean, it's like, how in the world did you get the bike for that inexpensive? Oh
yeah, Mickey is one of those that I think the salesman probably go running when Mickey comes around, because I'm telling you, man, he knows how to haggle.
But the thing about it is, the one thing that he has, and like I was trying to say about everybody usually has a friend like this, Mickey's not afraid to walk away.
Right.
Something's not right, or it's not kind of where he wants to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's $1 off. He'll walk away.
Oh, well, there's nothing in any dealership in the world that Mickey that they have that Mickey can't live without.
Well,
he knows that.
He bought the Fat Boy. He bought it.
Yeah.
Had it for 5-6 years. Traded it in. How long did he have that thing for?
I remember this.
I would say he had it for at least 4.
No, because he bought that thing when.
Well, he had it when I still had my Deluxe.
Yeah, and he didn't have it. I think he had it for a couple years because.
Well, how long's he had his Ultra for now? A year? 2 years?
It would be
2 years.
2.
So I'm going to say 3 years. Either way, he got the Fat Boy.
Yeah.
He had it for, we'll say, 3 years. And when he traded the Fat Boy in, they gave him more in trade value than what he paid an individual for the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So, and that was because he was willing to walk away from the deal.
Absolutely.
But he was also ready to do the deal.
Yeah, he came ready.
So that's just
Well,
we keep diving down rabbit holes, but like I said, that's just an example of it doesn't take a lot of money. So let me see your list. Let me see what we got
and
here.
while you're looking at the list there, also too, timing of when you buy. Around Christmas time is a great time to start looking Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and probably even some of your dealerships too.
Yeah.
People are ready to get rid of a bike. It's out of season. They probably didn't ride it the year before as much as they thought they were going to, and they need Christmas money. So if you can hit it around that time, maybe even in January, hit it before the income taxes start coming back, because that's when people now have money in their pocket and they're looking at other motorcycles.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a plus. We got one more thing on your list, and that's something COVID related there.
COVID. Oh, yeah, COVID. So
6 feet apart.
You know what? It was, by the time that it had kind of really hit here in Tennessee and things started kind of shutting down and would have really affected, what we do. The weather started getting nice.
Yeah.
And that was all the more reason to go out and just and ride. And the type
and there
of riding
was motorcycles
everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And the weather was great. You'd go out, go to these places where
I feel
there's
like
really
there was nothing else to do. I mean, you couldn't go in anywhere.
So I remember one ride that I did. It was my mother and my wife and I. We took off and rode around my old stomping grounds and some back roads and everything, and started getting hungry. And we're like, oh damn, what are we going to do now for something to eat? Because usually it was, well, we're going to ride to this town, and they've got some good food and cold beer and all that. Well, there was none of that going on. Yeah. So we went into town, and I went to a Dairy Queen, and of course can't really go through the drive-through. So I tried to open up the door. It was locked. Went back to the bike, and I said, hold on a second. So I called the Dairy Queen while I'm standing in the parking lot. I was like, hey, look, here's the deal. We're on motorcycles. You have a picnic table outside. Can I come in? We'll order, and then we'll go back outside. You guys just run this out here to us, and we'll eat right here in your parking lot or on your picnic table. And she goes, hold on just a second. And I could hear her talking to somebody. She's like, come up to the door. I'll let y'all in. And so they helped us out a lot. We had a great time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was our anniversary, my wife's anniversary. Us and some other people, we went out riding, and that was at the end of March. And we went to a little taco place, got tacos, and sat on the curb and ate tacos. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was a different experience, something I'd never done before. But I mean, it was perfectly fine.
Roughing it.
Yeah, roughing it.
But yeah, there was kind of something special about that though, because I think we had to do that a couple of times, and you're strictly, it kind of changes a little bit of the reason why you're out. I mean, you're out there, there's nowhere to go, so you're just kind of exploring and whatever you, it was a lot of fun.
Well, I think that's it for the subject of people being on the fence. I hope we kind of maybe answered some questions for you. If we didn't answer questions for you, and you still have some questions, you're on the fence, you're not sure what to do, I'm not going to tell you what bike to buy. I'm not going to do that. If you do have any questions, though, you can find us on Facebook at The Daily Biker. You can also find us on Instagram at The Daily Biker, and you can send questions. But before we get off, we started it last time. We're going to do it again. We got Chop, Ride, Sell.
All right, so
Get
I
your
have
three.
1, 2, 3.
All right, let me grab my 3. So 1, 2, and 3. All right. Oh, yeah. Let's start with you. What's your 3? Tell me what your 3 are.
Okay, so my 3 are the Harley Davidson Rocker.
Okay.
I have the Street Glide.
Okay.
And then I have the Victory. And I'm going to imagine that this Victory is probably the, let's see, what was it, the Magnum?
Which one?
It was kind of like a street glide. It wasn't a cross country. It had the cool paint scheme and everything. Was that what it was called? The Victory Magnum?
Oh,
I can't remember.
I'm lost.
Anyways, it was
that's the one bike
cool.
I didn't. I know the high ball or 8 ball or
Yeah.
And I know the cross country and the Vision.
Yeah, I think it came with a 21-inch wheel. It was pretty custom look straight out the door. So, all right, what do you have?
What's your other two?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did. Rocker, Harley Davidson rocker, and the Street Glide.
Oh, and the Street Glide. Okay, what are you going to do?
All right, so I am going to chop this rocker.
Okay.
So
I've seen one chopped.
Well, that was kind of the idea behind these things. They came chopped from the factory for the most part, but I'm going to do some pretty radical stuff to this thing.
Yeah, I mean they had the wide rear tire. I think they had like the exposed fuel line or something running on the gas tank.
It was supposed to look like bare bone. I mean, well, back when it came out, choppers, West Coast choppers, Orange County choppers were like on top of the world right then. So yeah. Let's see. I'm going to sell the Victory.
Okay.
And to pay for my rocker upgrades that I'm going to do with enormous motor and loud pipes and God knows what else. And I'm riding a brand new Street Glide now. So
okay.
My current Street Glide has about 40,000 miles on it, so I think it's time to have a new one. There it is.
Well, mine, it's going to be kind of a tough route here. So I got an FXR. I got the Softail Lowriders. And I got a Tiger 800. That's a tough bunch, man. That is a tough bunch. Because I really like the FXRs and I really like the Softail Lowrider. And I've always wanted a Tiger 800. Because I think, just commuting, that Tiger is a big, great bike, just thrashing bike, especially around here. The interstate gets shut down, and I might be able to go off the embankment onto a side street.
But that brand new Softail Lowrider, how fun would that thing be?
I know. So, yeah. But I don't know. Okay. I got it. Okay. I'm selling the Tiger.
Good choice.
I'm customizing the Softail Lowrider.
Mm-hmm.
The FXR, we're going to say it's a FXRP, and I'm just going to ride it.
Yeah. That's exactly the way that I would go.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%.
That one was a tough one, man.
For me, right off the bat, the Triumph Tiger looked like dollar signs because I'm thinking, how much customization you can do to those other two awesome bikes. And nothing against the Triumph Tiger. I'm sure it's great. I'll never know. I'm too short to ride it. But yeah, I was like, man, that's a lot of customization to those two awesome.
Yeah, I know. That gets the tough point. Well, once again, I'm Marcus. This is the Daily Biker Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at The Daily Biker. You can find us on Facebook at The Daily Biker. You can find me most weekends up here at White Lightning Harley Davidson, whether I'm doing a podcast or whether I'm just walking around, hanging out, chatting with people, trying to find some food, trying to get someone to buy me some tacos or something of that nature. Lewis, I want to thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Trust me, y'all will hear more from him. So if you like him, go find him. He's out there in the ethos. I don't know if he wants to share his social media just yet. What's your Instagram?
It's Bell Lewis.
Bell Lewis?
At Bell Lewis.
Is it just Bell Lewis?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll probably have to change that at some point.
Yeah. Well, anybody also that works in the airport business in the really the Southeast, I guess.
Yeah.
Might potentially already know who he is. So give us a shout, give us a listen. We're on pretty much every, I think there's one or two that we're still working on, every podcast platform that you can find. So I appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.